Hello everybody, time to play another game. Took a Friday off, and of course I usually take the weekends off. So haven't had a game in a while. I've been trying to practice with Chessimo and standard tactics on chess tempo without playing. So I don't know whether we're doing any good or not, but we're trying. Last game was kind of a tough win against a 1586 player, slightly higher rated than I was, and as a result, my rating went up to about, slide over a little bit. There we go. That was why it wasn't lined up right. As a result, my rating has climbed up to almost 1570 again, so we're back up towards the top of the graph, where before I bumped my head on the 1570 ceiling and dropped all the way down near 1500 again before I slowly climb back up. Oh, look at this guy. Alright, 1679. Oh, and he aborted. Well, that's nice. Why did you accept the seek? We'll try it again. I'd like to have auto pairing where players can't do that. It's pretty annoying when a player will accept a seek and, well, I mean, even if he just... Oh, now we have another 1600 player. Whoa, b4. Do not know how to approach this, so I'm going to take the center. Let's see, I figure b4... Yeah, you know what? d4 or e4, or d5 or e5 are probably good here. I do not know what to do against this opening. So we're going to play d5. And now maybe we're going to transpose into some sort of reverse French? I don't know what in the world this is. This is strange. You guys want to tell me about this opening after the game, because I don't know about it. So I'm going to just play classically here. He's going to attack the e5 pawn from the corner. I'm going to defend it with likely bishop d6, because knight c6 is subject to b5. And then I just lose the pawn. Of course, I could always take that pawn also, couldn't I? Some sort of a gambit pawn kind of a thing, but he's counterattacking, so let's go here. If I can work in maybe a6 and knight c6, then it may become possible to do that. Here it just looks like kind of scary, honestly. Kind of scary. So I need to defend my pawn again, otherwise d5 is going to win the pawn. I'm going to do that. I'm going to allow him to play c5, which is weird. But let's look at maybe something like knight b to d7, c5, bishop e7, and then later I can play b6. And I'll be working on getting a bishop on this diagonal, maybe. I'm not real sure. So I'm making this up as I go along, and I'm not sure how well that's going to go, but we're going to do it anyway. So I think right now knight b d7 is what I need to play. So this is making me somewhat uncomfortable, but that's to be expected when somebody's busting out something I've never seen before in a standard game. So we'll see how it goes. Oh, well, I hung my d-pawn, didn't I? I could probably get that back fairly easily. We'll see. So he didn't take it. He decided to do that instead. So that's fine. This is just strange. I don't know what in the world I'm doing. I really don't. So my d-pawn is not hanging any longer. That's good. His wing pawns are probably extended too far, and I can probably counterattack them. Okay, I can't play e4 here because of my g7 square. I could play bishop f6, and that may be my only choice. It's just very awkward to defend these pawns. I've never seen this stuff before. I keep saying that, but it's very, very important to me right now that I've never seen this before. I think I'm going to play bishop f6 and it'll kind of counter that. Maybe I'll have some discoveries on that bishop and that knight. It seems to sort of have an edge to it that way. It's solidly defended by 2 knights as well as the g-pawn, so it does kind of get in the way of the knight, but I figure it'll probably go away at some point anyway. I'll probably play e4 soon, and then my development will be a lot better. I'm hoping. It's awkward right now, but I'm hoping I can strike at his wing pawns with b6. Maybe need to play c6 first. Honestly, I'm not sure. Some of the downsides, he's leaving some holes behind him here. d3 would be a great place to get a piece. Not that that's going to happen anytime soon. That would be just for now. It's protected by the light square bishop right now, and it could be sort of re-attacked by some knights. But there's going to be some holes, it looks like, with these advancing pawns. Alright, so how does he proceed here? I've got my e5 pawn is shored up pretty well. d5 pawn is just kind of out by itself, but it can be protected with c6. My light square bishop is sort of a problem. I'm not that worried about his c5 pawn. Just, okay, what are we doing? We're attacking d6. Should I ignore that? No, because he's protected b2 in the meantime. So, quite simply just playing c6 here looks pretty good. What about e4? So c6 is probably a good candidate move here. e4, the knight's going to need to move, or he'll just, this is Wishnzug here, but let's say e4 and the knight moves. Go back to there. Here's off limits. Here would be off limits. So e4, he's probably not going to want to move the knight first. If he moves it back to g1, I think that's good for me. And then I would probably take the bishop and call that a win. But e4, bishop takes. e4, bishop takes. Knight takes. Seems to give me a good or at least a reasonable position, even though I've traded off the bad bishop for his bad bishop for my good, or what will likely be my good. So e4 is a candidate move that I don't mind playing right now. What about e4? Queen takes. Doesn't really get anywhere, right? He just loses the knight, or what is that thing? A bishop. So e4, bishop takes, I think, is almost forced. Knight g, f6, and this is defended, and how will he respond? Probably with d4. That seems most reasonable to me. I like that better than c6 because e4 is a little bit more clarifying. For my position. So it gets back to some normalcy. Will I be able to attack these 2 pawns over here if I play that? So look at it again. e4, bishop takes, knight takes. And looking at that position, would I have something like b6? I still would probably want to play c6 first, so that c6 himself is not an option. So maybe it's best to play c6 anyway, since I'm probably going to have to do that in the first place. Then I still have the threat of e4. So let's look at c6, and would he have something at that point like e4 himself? Yeah, he probably would. I think I might need to play e4 before he does. c6, e4, pawn takes seems alright. D takes e4. So maybe he can't play that first. c6, d4, and then I play e5. So c6 or e4 are my choices here. I think I'm probably playing both of them, and I just don't know which order. Depends on whether I want to get bishop takes in there in between. Something like if I play c6, I won't be able to trade off those dark square bishops. And I think I need to at this point. I'm going to go ahead and play c6, or sorry, e4. Alright, now he probably is going to swap here. I'm going to insta-take knight g f6. And then I'll need to play c6 my next... Ooh, I did not expect that. Did not expect that. Okay. I could chop the knight, but that's going to give him a nice centralized bishop instead of a centralized knight. So I think here I need to go ahead and play c6. Otherwise I'm going to have some real problems on the queen side. And now I have more central space, but he's got a centralized knight. My bishop is in an awkward position. So both my bishops are in awkward positions. Should be able to free things up with b6 soon. That's what I'm hoping. Then I might have a backward c-pawn on an open file. What is he doing there? Alright, clearly I'm going to need to take the... Well, I don't have to take the bishop. I'm not sure what he's doing. Alright, I'm going to take a second here. This looks interesting. This kind of screams tactics to me. Yeah, in fact, looking at knight takes c5. Alright, we're going to look at knight takes c5, bishop takes bishop. Yeah, I think I have maybe a good tactic here. Knight takes c5, bishop takes bishop, queen takes bishop. I'm attacking the rook. I'm attacking the queen, and I'm attacking the knight. So that doesn't work for him. Knight takes c5, queen moves. There's nowhere the queen can move to protect the knight. The knight can give check on g7. So knight takes c5, queen moves. Or, no. Knight takes c5, knight takes g7, bishop takes. Ew. So that might be hairy. Knight takes c5, knight takes. That's an X-ray attack. So knight takes, bishop takes. And then I can take the queen. So that seems good. The queen can't check. So unless I'm missing something, knight takes c5 is the move here. Let's see if I'm right. Of course I miss... Well, no, that's fine. That's fine. Actually, it's not, is it? Okay, so... that frees things up, but he's got the b7 square. And then I might have some b8 tactics here with the bishop. So he probably needs to take that. Probably needs to play bishop takes and then knight takes. Bishop takes, knight takes, then queen takes b7. And I'm probably back to even there, pawn-wise. But I think I'm coming out of some of the complications. Let's go if he goes bishop b7. Can I play bishop c8 and cause any problems? Oh, I don't think he can do that, can he? Oh yeah, he may be able to. If I were to play rook b8 right now, he could still play bishop takes. Let's look at this. Let's analyze. Rook b8, queen takes. I'm sorry, bishop takes. Knight takes. No, let's do this. Rook b8, bishop takes, rook takes, bishop takes queen, king takes bishop. At that point, I have what? What have I won? In that exchange, I lost. I just win as bishop, right? He loses a minor, I lose a minor. So that's just an exchange. Am I wrong about that? Okay, what about any in-between moves? Rook b8, bishop takes bishop. Queen takes bishop. Queen takes rook. That doesn't work. Rook b8. Queen, bishop takes bishop. Alright, how about bishop takes bishop now, queen takes bishop, rook b8. And I've got at least the open file and some activity. I can finish getting developed. We're just even pawns. And then I want to work on opening up the center. Well, no, actually I don't. I want to worry about finishing development. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. Ah, I missed my g7 square. My word. Alright, I just developed here, right? Worry about the queen just repenetrating here, and I have to deal with this knight, or this, what is that thing? Pawn. I could develop it to e7 instead of f6. What's good about e7? Knight g, e7 defends both of these pawns, but it's less forward. f6 defends these two pawns, but what else is it going to do? f6 could come to d6 to attack this pawn. But it leaves the same hole. So I'm gonna have to go to f6. I always have bishop d7 if I need to protect that pawn with queen b7. I have a strange game, but I've come out of it fairly even here. I don't think I have any real weak points. I'd like to take that b file, and if he leaves his queen there, I am. A pawn is a little weak, but his is as well. I think my pawn structure is a little better.
Check.
Holy cow. How do I miss that stuff? I didn't even look at it. I mean, I think it's fine. I just come here. That's pretty forced, it looks like. Okay, so is he wanting, what's, just wanting to get castled, I guess. I need to get castled as well. Is there any in between? Looking at maybe knight d7 here. Loses the g7 pawn, so let's go ahead and get castled. His queen is in a really weird place. Maybe it's okay, but knight d7, forking. He's got a couple of control squares that are okay. But I think I'm going to be able to get the b file out of that. So knight d7, queen whichever, rook b8. And then it might be time to start thinking about trying to make d4 work. d4 is going to free up my bishop. I don't know how to make that work, but it's something to think about. Knight g4 doesn't do anything right. Knight g4, bishop takes, and I don't know what's really accomplished. So let's go this way with it. Starting to like my development more than his, and my pawn structure more than his, so that's good. Possibly able to expand with f5, f4 at some point. Alright, now I think we're going to start developing the rooks. And f5 may be how I develop the f rook, but b8 is definitely how I need to develop this rook. Maybe potential moves like queen a5. Looking here. Looking here. Bishop doesn't really have any good entry points, or bishop. Rook doesn't have any real good entry points yet, but getting on that file first is probably good. In fact, I'd like to double on it if possible. And that may be something that queen a5 can help with. Queen a5, rook b7, rook b8. Looks like a lot of fun. I'll continue to increase the mobility of my pieces. So ways that I can increase the mobility of my pieces. Let's look at that. I could maybe even, if I wanted to, trade off queens with queen f6. Alright. He's allowed me to get into b2 there, but I don't know why I would do it. I'm thinking about queen a5 pretty strongly, because queen a5 will keep his rook at home. His other rook can come to b1. But how does he get to my queen at queen a5? How does he harass it at all? I don't think he easily does, unless it would take rook b1. No, he still can't do it, so I think I think I like queen a5 here. Working on trying to get my rooks into the game. My queen into the action a little bit. Although, those pawns are pointing to the king side. f5 makes me a little squeamish, though. I don't think I can get my pieces into the action fast enough to do anything. But it might be worth a look. Alright, queen a5, I think. It has the benefit of hitting c5 here. So after that opening, I'm pretty happy with the position, but my real downside is my bishop compared to his. My plus seems to be central pawns, pawn structure maybe. He does have the backwards pawn on d3, but it's not on an open file. His c pawn is sort of off in the middle of nowhere. And I'm not sure how he protects it, honestly. I mean, there may be some trick with rook c1 that I don't know, but I kind of doubt it. Rook c1, just knight takes c5 right now. Alright, so he decides to go for f4. Which in my opinion feels like a mistake. It feels like a mistake, doesn't mean it is. So why would it be a mistake? Gives him an open f file if I take. It loses the c-pawn. He did nothing about the c-pawn. So let's say I went e takes f3 en passant. He takes with the bishop, most likely. Could take with the rook, either one. Then I took his c-pawn. And I would probably take it with the knight. I don't want to... I'm going to leave that locked up over there, I think. Man, I don't know. His bishop is a scary thing. He's giving his bishop more scope either way than mine. So I want to leave the queens on, so maybe there'll be some dynamic kind of compensation for having a weaker bishop. I think I'm going to take... I'm going to leave this as it is. Ooh. Maybe I should push f5, though. Oh, man, I really don't want to do that. I could play bishop f5, though. F5 traps my bishop is what I'm looking at there. It's kind of looking like I'm going to have to take en passant there. But that, I just really don't want to. If I play bishop f5, then g4 is a problem. Alright. We're going to have to get down to it because the time's kind of starting to stink a little bit. E takes f3, bishop takes, and then knight takes. That's what I'm going to have to do. Otherwise my bishop's going to be in difficulties. Going to be leaving some holes in his position here. B2 is vulnerable to my rook now. Still. Oh, he goes with the rook, huh? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Because he wants to double? Frankly, I'm not really scared of that right now. So I am going to go ahead and take here. Huh. Literally. Oh, I see, because f6. f6, queen takes f6, right? So I might need to play g6 instead. Looks like it's going to have to be g6, doesn't it? Alright. Doesn't really scare me. I can always play f takes, so I'm going to ignore that for now. Seems to be just weakening. And he seems to be maybe getting desperate. I'm not sure what that is. It's weird, though. Alright, I want to look at rook b4 here. Rook b4, his queen's going to have to come to one of these two squares. Which may not be something I want to encourage. But I can win that pawn in the process, can't I? Swing my rook over onto the good side of the board, or the defensive side of the board. So rook b4, does he have anything annoying? Does not look like he does. I'm going to go rook b4 here. Right. Either of these two squares he moves to, I'm probably going to auto rook takes h4. So let's say queen here. No, that would protect it, wouldn't it? So queen f6, protecting here. How do I harass? Probably knight d7. Looks like it harasses pretty well. Might even come close to trapping that puppy. Getting there anyway. Knight d7, I'm pretty sure. I'm a little lower on time than I'd like to be, so I may be moving fairly quickly here. Knight d7, queen g5. Would be a mistake, wouldn't it? Queen g5, f6 may just trap the thing altogether. No, because that's pinned. The g5 pawn is pinned. Getting awfully hairy for him. Hmm. That's interesting. Weird, but interesting. Alright, so I have him tied in a little bit of a bind here. But I don't think there's anything I can do with it. My time kind of stinks. I don't want to get this low on time. I really didn't want to. I don't see how to harass further. So what can I do instead? Time. I'm not sure what to do. Alright. Thinking about knight to e5 here. I need to decide fairly quickly. Knight to e5 looks like a pretty nice little square. Okay. Sort of letting the queen off the hook a little bit, but yeah, again, this doesn't bother me at all. So, well, it does if he pushes here, but not tremendously. I still think his queen is in some trouble here. If I were to play bishop here, no. If I were to play knight here, bishop takes, rook takes. Crud. Time. This is, I can't believe I'm running into time trouble in this game, but I am. Let's go with this. Plays h6, there's always possibilities of king h8 and rook g, whatever that is. So I have to keep his queen out of here. I'm not sure I can do anymore. Yeah, I can go here. So unfortunately, I'm actually struggling with time here, of all stupid things. I need more time than a minute and a half, but I anticipate blundering somewhere horribly, especially with as sharp as this little situation is now. What I need to do is get in here and trade off my queen. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I'm up a pawn. This pawn's going to be weak. The bishop situation is mostly mitigated. He hasn't gotten his pieces into the game. So I think I might even be able to go up 2 pawns. But the time issue, and I'm bad at endgame, so I'm going to need more time. I just am. So my main concern is keeping the queen out of here right now so that I can avoid checkmate, which I've done for now. Yeah. So how about bishop e8, rook e8, either rook, probably this one. Looks pretty good. Yep, rook e8. So that's going to get him out of there, and then I can play f6. Or even f5, but probably f6 just to keep the queen off of that diagonal. So I may be kind of quiet for the rest of this game. Sorry if that makes worse viewing, but I'd kind of like to win if possible. Point being, I need to think as quickly as I can, and verbalizing it is slower. So I may be slow for a bit here, or I'm sorry, I may be quiet for a bit here. Strange move. Maybe. F5, queen takes, and then rook f7. Loses the rook. Crud. Loses that pawn. That's a problem. Still got the fork possibility here. But let's see. Queen takes, fork, queen here, and I still lose, I think. Yeah. Uh-huh. So now I think I can get away with this, though. Now f6 is protected by the rook. Get my knight in the game with knight e5. And I might get some activity. Huh. Really strange. I'm surprised he wants to trade queens here. Or he's not actually going to trade queens, but he's going to get an offer of it here.
Check.
Okay, that's bad. So I'm going to miss simple things like that a lot in this ending, unfortunately, which means I'll probably lose. But whatever, you know, I'm trying. Best I can do. Try to keep sharp. Knight f6 has some possibilities if he stays where he's at. You know, some moves will make that less desirable, but my knight is going to get a lot of activity if I can get it to f6. My rook has some possibilities here. Back row weakness is very strong. His pieces are pretty well coordinated, but he's up a pawn now. But again, knight f6 looks pretty good. I'm going to lean that way unless I see something obvious. He would look really good with rook b1, so I'm going to have to figure out what to do with rook b1. If rook b1, where do I go? If rook b1, queen c7, I think. And then he moves here, so no, that's bad. Rook b1, I'm going to go here. I think that's my best. I don't have a lot of choices. Now he wins another pawn with queen takes, knight takes, rook takes. But I win that pawn, it looks like, in that line. So bring the rook into the game to here. Rook, queen, knight. Might be pretty good for him. Something like knight e7. Might be scary looking. Rook b7, and I have rook a7 anyway. Yeah, in fact, there's a lot of things that look pretty good for him here. Just going downhill pretty fast, but not giving up without a fight. Yeah. So here, let's see real quick if there isn't any tricks or anything. Don't see any. Alright. I need to go ahead and move, and I'm going to have to move. I'm going to have to swap queens. Alright. I'm here. I'm going to try to make my knight as active as possible. Got a nice square here I can't entrench it on, but I can get it to, at least. Maybe a rook could help support it. That knight's going to have to move or be defended. Maybe rook... Okay, that seems fine, except it loses a rook. Where's he going to go? Here. He's going to fork, except it's not a real fork because I'll be gone by then. So let's do this fairly quickly, I think. And I have some activity. He's moving way too fast for the amount of time he has left. But that's fine. You know? I'm happy about that. Now here I can just come right back to D whatever, right? Are there any checks? Does knight e3, f3 work? Knight f3 takes, doesn't do anything active. So we just, oh I see, because he'll fork at that point. So how about just that? Alright, I need to calculate that because it's not going to work, but I need to look. Knight d7, rook takes, knight takes, rook here, king here. Yeah, that's curtains. How about rook here then? Is that going to work? I'm out of time. Yeah, I think that might get me out of danger. I'm going to have a smothered mate here. We might, you know. It could happen. You get knight, work his knight into right here, you know. It'd be smothered mate without my knight there. Alright, so now knight d8 is possible again because I can't be forked on e6. Although, knight d8, yeah, knight d8's okay. It's weird though. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on here. This is scary. Scary, scary, scary. So takes here, and then if he comes down, I can get out here. And it seems reasonable. Almost any other move. Well, he'd be well suited to play knight e6 here to keep me from playing rook g8. Okay, that buys me some time, at least. I think maybe he's just going to win the a pawn.
Check.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't have a choice. So.
Check.
Although, wait, maybe I do. Huh. I may have done that too fast, but I wanted the time also. It's probably bad, but it does at least stop him from taking another pawn or two. So, in fact, if he takes h7 there instead of a7, it's much worse for me because I'm going to have a lot of trouble stopping that pawn.
Check.
Okay, so now I just have better pawns, right? This may actually be a win now for me. Wow. Well, I mean, time is going to kill me. I'm not going to get my hopes up. Time is going to kill me. But I think he's traded into a worse ending. Almost for sure. How's he going to stop me from rounding up the H-pawn? Maybe going after the A-pawn in the meantime? I'm not sure. I'm going to try to go knight f6, g4, king f6, g5 to h6 if I have to. But I think just getting my knight here will just win that free of charge. Alright, so where's he going? He's going to stop me from going here, but if he does, wow, I just trade into a pure king and pawn ending where I think I win. Knight here, takes, king here, takes, king up, over here. Yeah, I'm going to do that. If he takes, I think I win the H-pawn, and I can get back to the queen side without trouble. Then it's just a matter of creating a passed pawn on the king side, which I have superior structure. I just stop him from playing. If he ever plays e4, I just take it, and then I have 2 pawns to compete with his 1, and should win that. Alright, I'm going to move as quickly as I can here to gain time. Alright. I'll do that then. That keeps him out. I'm actually winning this endgame. I can't believe it. I just win that pawn here, but it gives him a passed pawn, but it gives me 3 almost connected passed pawns.
Check.
Alright, I have plenty of time now. This is a win, folks. I cannot believe I'm going to win this game, but I am.
Check.
Literally, I think it's resignable for white at this point. Gonna mop up the e-pawn.
Check.
Woo! Okay, this is a new plugin I haven't used. That's kind of cool. I'm going to close that. I didn't realize it was going to do that. Let me tell him good game. Good luck. Okay, now TJ is going to gripe me out. I guess he was watching. Let me go ahead and wrap up the video. I'll do what I normally do here. PGN. Copied it. Crisp kill at the end. Thanks, TJ. And I remember how to do this. I need to get my... Oh, fixed standard games. Good. I need to import my 1 PGN game. Paste it. There we go. Import. And save as new. Add new game. Today's date. Classify. Save. And voila! Okay, I'm in a good mood, guys. Alright, I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.